All right, now that I've won this new McLaren 720S GT3 through the special event, 720 degrees, we should take this car out for a spin in the series the car's featured in. So, and we got 8 days before the next event. I'd assume the race day event starts. So, meantime, yeah, let's check into the 2020 season of GT3, which you will find under Motorsports section. Right. So there are two sub-series under GT3 heading, of course. We got Exhibition Series, which is a free series, but that only uses Porsche. So this car, McLaren, we get to actually use it in a single series, essentially. 2020 season it's gonna be. And yeah, let's hop in. 2020 season. Race a selection of incredible cars from the 2020 season of GT3, which there are only two right now. Maybe they will add more. They've done it with other seasons in other series, so I wouldn't be surprised if they give us more liveries and whatnot. So anyway, all right, so total payout in this series is going to be 70,000 motorsport dollars, because it's now pretty much they're trying to have these new motorsports category to use that new currency almost exclusively. So upgrades are almost entirely motorsport dollars, and payout is definitely 100% motorsport dollars. And first 25% completion will get you 8,000, as you can see here, and then the 50% completion will get you another 14,000 motorsport dollars. So that's 22,000 total, 50% completion, and then another 25% add to that, the 75% completion will get you another 19,000 motorsport dollars on top. So that would be 41,000 total up to that point, which is what you should be able to get without investing any gold on the upgrades on either of the cars, by the way. So if you manage to win the McLaren with lower upgrades, then my strategy is going to be keep the McLaren at the lower upgrades and just go as far as you can. In my case, it's going to get me 25% completion. Let's see, I think somewhere around, I want to say Nürburgring is probably about as far as I'm going to be able to go with my current PR on McLaren, how I want it. I want it with basically 8 upgrades total, 2 upgrades each category. So for those of you guys who's been following my channel, there's of course my playthrough of the 720 degrees special event. So if you haven't done so, do check it out. I'll put the link in the description box below. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. Anyway, the 200% complete, you will need PR 82.7. So in order to get there, you need to get every motorsport dollar upgrades available on this car, and they're, decent number. So that's gonna cost you some 2,140,340 motorsport dollars, and yeah, that's gonna take a few days to farm that much. And the last upgrades on both cars, by the way, the upgrade tree is essentially identical, even though their PRs off by 0.1 point in favor of McLaren. But the last upgrades in each of the 4 categories are going to be gold. Now, you don't need to get all the gold upgrades unless you wanna fully upgrade. There are obviously some perks to doing that. But in order to basically get the 100% completion out of this, you will have to get 2 of those gold upgrades. So 2 categories in your upgrades need to be maxed out, and that will cost you basically 145 gold. So something to keep in mind. Basically, the 2 categories that you will fully upgrade are your brakes and suspension, because those are the cheaper ones to go with to reach the required PR. So I think you can complete almost entirety of the series without those extra gold upgrades. But anyway, and unfortunately, 100% completion, there is no gold payout. So the 145 that you spend on upgrades are just pure spending. That's it. So hopefully you level up a few times throughout the event, throughout the season, to recoup some of that gold that you invest into upgrading this car. All right, so what else is there to talk about this one? Of course, the series there are 18 tiers, and like many other motorsports seasons, basically you get 2 venues of 3 events each, followed by a time trial at the second venue, right? So we got in the first group, we got the Brands Hatch and Laguna Seca, and the time trial is at the Laguna Seca. And then next 2, we got Catalunya and Nürburgring. So Nürburgring gets time trial. And then the next group, we got Monza and Silverstone. Silverstone gets the time trial. And Circuit of the Americas and Mount Panorama. Yep, Mount Panorama gets the time trial. And next we got Melbourne and Suzuka, and yep, you guessed it, Suzuka gets the time trial. And final group, we got Daytona and Spa gets the time trial. So that is the total of 42 events. There are 6 time trials, so actual trophies that you need to win. There are 36 trophies that you're going to have to win for essentially 100% completion, right? So if you look, you don't have to win 3 gold trophies to unlock Laguna Seca. So that's the reason for that is because the third trophy basically unlocks you the time trial, and then it's back to having to win all the trophies up till that point in order to unlock next 2, basically kind of follow the same formula, you know what I mean? So that is how it's gonna work. So as I was saying, somewhere around tier, I want to say 5, it's going to be 25% completion, and then somewhere around Circuit of the Americas, I want to say it's going to be about 50% completion, and then somewhere around Suzuka, I'd expect Suzuka or Melbourne, as that towards that we got 2 time trials left at the end, so I would expect somewhere around Melbourne to be 75%, or maybe it'll be more like Suzuka. I don't know. We'll find out as we go, since this series does not allow me to unlock any of these series using any of the currency. It's not a thing. They took it away, unfortunately. So much for that. So I have to you'll have to just tag along with me for a ride. What can I say? Now, of course, there are 2 cars featured. Let's check into the first event here. We got Speed Snap, Speed Record, and Cup all at Brands Hatch. So let's check into Speed Snap. So 2 cars featured. Yes, we got 911 GT3 R, the race event car that is gonna unlock. The event is gonna be unlocking in look like about 8 days time. And then of course the current event car is McLaren 720S GT3, which I won with, as I said, 8 upgrades, PR 71.3, quite affordable. And you know, if I can do it, I'm sure you guys can pull it off too. There's a couple of events in the last couple of stages that might give you a little bit of trouble, but as I said, if I can do it, you can do it. And since we already know the PR requirement for the race day event that is going to feature this Porsche and this car, we can't start upgrading in the exhibition series. You cannot do it from the 2020 season, but from here, as you can see, the upgrades are available, so you can get started on upgrading this car. If you're starting from 0 motorsport dollars in your bank, if you somehow manage that, congratulations, that's an impressive feat in its own right, because you know the numbers don't quite add up that evenly. I think one of my accounts, I brought it down to like 200, somewhere around there, not like 200,000, but 200, like 3-digit number. I thought that was pretty close to bringing it all the way, draining it all the way down to 0. I didn't quite get there though. But anyway, let's say you're starting from 0 for some weird reason. It will take you 9 days of farming, basically 200 motorsport dollars every day. So make sure you have enough of a buffer before you get started with the event, because once you start the event, you are essentially starting the countdown clock and you only have so many days to complete it. So if you don't allow yourself to, you know, bank up enough motorsport dollars, then you would miss out on the car because you couldn't meet the PR requirement because you ran out of money basically. And that is not a fun way to lose out on things. So anyway, so in my case, since I will be upgrading the Porsche to meet the PR requirement of 80, which is obviously significantly higher than what I have on the McLaren. So basically, if you can win McLaren with less upgrades, that means you have more to spare for the Porsche. And since Porsche, I'm gonna have to upgrade it to 80 to win. That's most likely gonna be the car that I'll stick to go further in this season rather than McLaren. So obviously each tier we have these variety events that does not require PR requirement. I'll jump in with McLaren to get the most out of the service bars that I have to kind of spread between 2 cars. But yeah, so that's my strategy. So we'll talk more about the upgrading of the Porsche once the race day event starts. I know you can already get started. I think getting like 5 upgrades across the board should get you enough upgrades to meet the PR requirement. But we'll talk more about that in detail when the race day event's in, as I said, about 8 days it looks like. So in the meantime, let's, enough of me yapping, and let's take this McLaren out for a spin on this Speed Snap at Brands Hatch. Here we go. That was much longer introduction than I had planned on giving here. Alright, so 241 is the target to beat. Set by another McLaren, so here we go. number 1 of 2020 season. Looking good. All right. Whole 3,000 Motorsport dollar rewards. All right. Takes out a service bar. All right, so gold trophy number 1 out of 3 available here at Brands Hatch Down. And of course, as I said, out of 36, 1 down, 35 more to go. All right, let's check into the next event, which is going to be speed record. So a full lap, and target is going to be 246. Set by a TSM friend. All right. That one I pushed a little bit harder than I had planned on it. Since I'm not planning on upgrading this car anytime soon, I do not wish to encounter any of these fast TSM bots. So if you're in my friends list, please don't overdo it. Let's complete the season first before we start going crazy, you know? All right, so a full lap takes about another 3.5 service bars, it looks like. Okay, 2 down. That unlocks the next tier, next venue, but let's, if I'm really smart, I would actually do the autocross first, but hey, let's live dangerously. We'll complete Brands Hatch first. It's gonna be 6 laps, and in Motorsports section, for some odd reason, we cannot hire Eric to preserve those service bars. How lame is that? Come on. Makes no sense. And are we getting a rolling start? So in this new category, GT3, the drafting is active. I say that because most of the motorsports category, the drafting is not active. Only part that it's currently active are essentially the new ones, aside from NASCAR. NASCAR's always had that. It's something that was always super exciting about NASCAR. Now, of course, the Formula One has it, and GT3 has it, and the daily races. So when we have Formula E daily races, the drafting is active in that, but not in actual like seasons of. We have season 3, 4, and 5 and exhibition series in Formula E, and drafting doesn't work there. So yeah, I know. I think it just means it's a work in progress. So I am hoping that it will eventually wash through there as well. But anyway, those 6 laps here at Brands Hatch is gonna pay out 23,800 motorsport dollars. All right, and more importantly is that put the car in critical condition for running for about 4.5 minutes. Well, let's find out. No, not bad. All right. Barely. Left with 1 service bars. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to make my way through the next tier without having to service or upgrade for that matter. So there we go, the beginning of a new season. And yes, unlocks that time trial at Laguna Seca. So here we go. We'll see you in the next video at Laguna Seca. All right, stay tuned.